Hey guys, and welcome to another mobility session video. Today I'm going to walk you through a quick 58-minute mobility session that you can do after any workout. Now we're going to start off with the cat cow. So I'm going to get you guys to go down on all fours, so hands and knees on the ground. Round your back as you inhale and extend your back. Push the hips behind as you exhale. I want you to go nice and slow with this movement. So every single rep, as I round my spine, I'm tucking my chin in, my forehead down to my belly button, and as I exhale, I slowly reverse that motion. The second movement I'm going to get you guys to do is go into a child's pose, lean forward into a Cobra Push-Up. So sit back onto your legs and then lean forward, push your hands down and lift your chest up. I want you guys to do a couple of reps of this combo. So this is stretching the lower back, the back muscles, and as you lean forward, you're pushing your hips down, you lengthen the tricep, and you're going to feel that in your chest. Again, make sure you squeeze the glutes, push your hips down as you're doing the Cobra Push-Up. The next movement I'm going to get you guys to do is you're going to put your hand beside your ear on the side of your head, and then you're going to lead with your elbow. Make sure you're in that tabletop position. You're going to point your elbows down to the other elbow and then lift up, keeping your eye on your elbow the entire time. So this is going to strengthen your upper back and it's going to work on your posture as well. So again, notice the only thing that's opening up is my arm and my upper body. My lower body is staying nice and steady. My hips are staying nice and steady. Make sure you do them on both sides. Now I'm going to go onto the ground and do half a Cobra push-ups. Notice with this variation my hips is staying on the ground. And then after that I'm going to do a full Cobra push-up by getting my hips off the ground, squeezing my glutes and locking my elbows at the top. Again, I want you guys to hold this position at the top. When you lock your elbows, hold for about 2 seconds and then slowly come back down. Now, I'm going to go back into that all four and work on my scapula or my shoulder blade protraction. So as you can see, my elbows is not moving. I'm pushing my scapula down and come back up and round my shoulder blade. If this is too easy, you can go on your hands into a high plank and do the movement. If it's too hard, go back onto your knees and focus on pushing your scapula down, your shoulder blade down, protracting and retracting. Now I'm going to bring my left foot beside my left hand. So stay in the all four first, bring the left foot beside the left hand, and the back knee is going to come off the ground. I want you to push your right hip down onto the ground. Now I'm going to raise my left arm up to the sky, keeping my eyes on my finger the entire time. Notice how my shin is staying nice and vertical. I want you guys to do a couple of reps of this movement. So I'm bringing my left arm down behind my right elbow and then lift it up high up facing the ceiling. Again, my eyes is focusing on my fingers. We're going to bring the leg back and do the same thing on the other side. So again, I'm pushing the opposite hip onto the ground. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your hip flexor and also your hamstrings as well. Again, my shin is staying nice and vertical. Now I want you guys to drop that knee down, you're going to come into a lunge position. So 90-degree forward, 90-degree at the back. I'm putting my hands on the hips, and now I'm working on my hip movement. So I'm tucking my hips under, and then I'm extending my back behind. So again, this is called anterior pelvic tilt and posterior pelvic tilt. Now I'm going to go into anterior pelvic tilt. So my hips is behind, and I'm bringing my right foot forward, keeping the leg straight, point your toes up and lean forward. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings. Now I'm going to switch leg and do the other same thing. So hands on the hips, tucking the hips under, and then reverse that motion. So hips is going in and hips is going out. So anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. So before you do the hamstring stretch, make sure you are in an anterior pelvic tilt. So hips are behind, legs are straight forward, toes are up, and lean forward. Hold this for a few more seconds. Now I'm going to bend the front leg into a 90-degree. My back leg is straight, and then I'm going to lean forward. This is called a pigeon pose. So I'm trying to lean forward. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your glutes. So if your left leg is bent forward, you're going to feel that in your left glute. If you do it the other side, if your right leg is forward, you're going to feel that on your right glute. So notice I'm trying to lengthen my spine by leaning all the way forward. And I'm going to switch side by do the other same thing onto the other side. Leaning forward as much as I can, keeping my front leg bent into a 90-degree. My spine is fully lengthened, and I'm feeling a nice stretch in my right glute. Now I want you guys to sit back up straight. You're going to put your 2 feet together, knees are going out. We're going to hold this position, the butterfly pose. So 2 feet together, push your knees out, staying nice and tall. Now I'm going to bring the right leg onto the outside, and then I'm going to lean forward. Again, make sure you're not bending the spine. Make sure you're nice and tall. Bring the foot in and do the same thing onto the other side by leaning forward. My toes are staying up. I'm trying to get my belly button to my knee, not my fingers to my toes. Going back to that butterfly pose again by putting your 2 feet together, hold it for a few more seconds. Now we're going to work on the hip flexor, so bring the right foot out to the outside again. Make sure your rib cage are down. You're going to lift the leg up and then slowly bring it back down. Again, make sure you are nice and tall. So I want you guys to do a couple of reps by bringing the leg up and then slowly bring it back down. I want you guys to hold it for 5 seconds on that 5th rep and then slowly bring it back down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So 5 repetitions and hold for 5 seconds on that last one. Again, make sure your body is nice and tall, your chest is staying nice and tall. If you feel a cramp by any chance, go back into that butterfly pose by putting your 2 feet together. We're going to try that one more time on the other side. Again, if you want to make this harder, try not to let your heel touch the ground, so make sure your legs is staying floating in the air. So 5 repetitions and hold for 5 seconds on that 5th rep. This is going to straighten your hip flexor. And one last time, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So 5 repetitions and 5-second hold on that last rep. Again, if you feel a cramp, if you feel any pain by any chance while straightening the hip flexor, go back into that butterfly pose. That will stretches your hip flexor and get rid of any cramps. Next up, I'm going to bring my right leg across my body while keeping my left leg straight. Bring the knee as close to my chest as possible by giving my knee a hug. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your glutes. If you want to make this more of an effective stretch, you're going to take your left elbow, push the knee inwards. Now you're going to feel that in your lower back as well. Now, I'm bending my left knee inwards, my right knee is over my left knee. And I'm leaning forward, give myself a tight hug. Now I'm going to feel a stretch in both glutes, my right and my left as well. Again, hold this position for a few seconds. So my right knee is over my left knee. Again, lean forward as much as possible until you feel a nice stretch in your glutes. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So first thing is, grab the left knee, give yourself a nice hug by bringing the knee close to the chest. If you take this to the next level, take the right elbow, push the knees inwards and turn yourself backwards. Again, place your right knee over your left knee and then lean forward, give yourself a nice hug again. Now, I'm going to get you guys to lie back on your back. We're going to straighten the glutes now. So, I'm going to get you guys to put your 2 feet slightly hip apart. Dig your heel down, lift your hips up and hold it for 2 seconds at the top and then slowly bring it back down. We're going to do 5 repetitions and we're going to hold 5 seconds on the 5th rep. Again, notice from my hip to my knee is a nice straight line as I'm lifting my hips off the ground. After your 5th rep, after you hold for 5 seconds as well, we're going to do a single leg glute bridge. So my right leg is off the ground, my left foot is on the ground. So I'm lifting my hips up off the ground for 5 reps and hold it for 5 seconds on that 5th rep again. And then I'm going to switch side and do the same thing onto the other. So 5 repetitions and hold for 5 seconds on that 5th rep. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you can on the way up to really maximize the glute engagement in the glute bridge. Now I want you guys to put your 2 feet together, knees are going outside. We're going to do a frog pump, so a frog glute bridge by lifting the hips up again with your 2 feet together this time. You're going to really feel that one in your glutes. If you have a band at home, feel free to use the band, put the band across your knees. That will force you to push your knees outside to really maximize the glute engagement. Now I'm going to try that again. So go back to the start, do the normal, the regular 2 feet glute bridge. So 5 repetitions and hold for 5 seconds on that 5th rep. So same thing, lift the right leg up, left foot is on the ground, 5 repetitions again, hold for 5 seconds on that 5th rep. Don't forget to breathe as you're doing these exercises, okay? So exhale on the way up, inhale as you're going down. And then last one, the frog pump, 2 feet together, knees are outside, lift up and then slowly come back down. Again, really focus on squeezing the glutes as much as you can on the way up. Make sure you are in a posterior pelvic tilt, so your hips are nice and tucked underneath yourself, so you really get the full benefit of the glute activation, the glute engagement in this exercise. So now that we after straighten the glutes, we're going to stretch the glutes by bringing the right knee towards your chest. Make sure your lower back is fully flat on the ground and hold it there for a few seconds. Now I'm going to bring my left foot onto my right knee. I'm going to take my left hand, bring it to that little gap in between and grab my right knee, bring it towards your chest. Now you're going to really feel that one in your glutes if you are doing it the right way. So my left foot is on my right knee, my left arm is going into that little gap, grabbing the right knee, bring it towards your chest. Again, I'm doing the same thing onto the other side. Again, make sure your shoulder and your lower back especially is on the ground to really maximize the stretch of the glutes. Now you can bring your foot down. We're going to lift the arms up and lift the knees off the ground. We're going to go into a dead boat position. So bring your left arm behind, your right leg forward. Bring it back and do the same thing on the other side while maintaining your lower back fully flat on the ground. So we're going to do 2 repetitions on each side. Again, my arms are straight and my legs are straight as they're going down and forward. Now I want you guys to hold this hollow body position for a few seconds. So keep your lower back on the ground, legs are straight, arms are behind. Go back into that dead bug position, arms and knees off the ground. Gonna go back again to the hollow body, hold for a few seconds. Again, if this position is too hard, feel free to bend the knees a little bit. The more you bend the knees, the easier it is. The more you lengthen the knees and the arms, the harder it is. So one more time into the hollow body hold. And now I want you guys to grab both knees, bring it towards your chest so you really feel a nice stretch in your lower back. Now, bring the right knee over to the left side while keeping your right arm straight so you're really going to feel a nice stretch in your lower back and your glutes as well. And last one, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the last stretch for today. Hold this for a few more seconds. And relax. Right guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you want more of any workouts of any kind of class, feel free to go on our social media page. You can do the mobility session anytime after you work out or in the evening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and I will see you guys soon.